Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 13th of December. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Pierre.
And Gary, this is the last GPTV episode for the year. And I've had a lot of people stop me in the street asking me when the last episode is. And I said, I thought it would be this one.
Yep.
And I said, why are you asking? And they said, because we don't know what we're going to do with our time until GPTV comes back in 2017,
That's what
Gary.
the internet's for. It's what YouTube's for, Phil, because you can just keep going back in time and watching old episodes.
I would recommend that viewers over summer catch up with all of the past episodes. I mean,
230 odd, 235 odd.
I mean, I've got to tell you, Gary, I'm looking for a new series at the moment because I've just finished the last series.
Yes.
Do you know what I was watching?
The Crown. I think you said it last week.
No, wait for this, because you're going to love this series, viewers.
Is there violence?
No. Well, yes.
Is there a car chase?
Yes.
Is there men and women in beautiful moments together?
Yes.
Okay.
Have a guess then what I'm watching, because you actually asked those questions and I answered yes to all of them.
I like it.
So, viewers, I have
kind of
just
already.
finished watching
The Sopranos.
No, O.J. Simpson.
I've seen it.
And
it's
it
great.
is
Isn't it wonderful?
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good, isn't
I've
it?
got to
Really
tell
good.
you, you know,
I've seen
first
it,
of all, I
yeah.
didn't realise that it was
people
already
judge him,
1995.
That's right. It's a long time ago.
What an extraordinary story.
It is.
And I would recommend all viewers watch it over the summer
How good is
period.
John Travolta in it?
Oh, he's
Isn't he a
sensational.
great character?
He is sensational.
Well, let's move on to talk about real estate, Philip, because we have just had our final big weekend. It's not the final weekend. Oh, no, because we've got two more.
Two more.
But,
two more. Can you believe? Sorry, me scratching my nose here.
No,
but
just go ahead.
two more. I'm doing one on Saturday
Yes.
and one on Sunday.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had a weekend in my entire
yes, you
real
have.
estate career,
Yes, you've had
except for the
plenty.
first 10 years of our business.
That's right, yeah. Other than the first 10 years of your career, it was like that every weekend. That was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Way back.
That was a
Philip,
big weekend. Viewers, two auctions on a weekend. There was a time in our business where we walked away from that weekend doing high fives on Sunday saying, can you believe we had an auction on Saturday
and on Sunday,
followed by Sunday?
Well, we don't get any less excited about the successful results for our clients, Philip, but what a week we've had in real estate, Philip. We've sold 20 out of 22. That is a 91% clearance rate,
94, I think it was.
Oh,
you can see how fatigued we really are when
We'll
we
put it
can't
up
even,
on the screen, but
we'll
after
get
this
the accurate results up on
I
screen.
think it's 91, Phil, against the
Smash
industry
the
average.
industry average again, Gary. 74, and we keep saying week in, week out that 74 is all right, but 90+% week after week after week. Viewers, once again, I do say to you, in all seriousness, the Gary Pierre and Associates selling system, the selling system, the selling system, we outperform the industry average week in, week out because our system is simply better.
And hey, Phil, I've been back through the whole year, and we actually sold 97% of all the properties that we were entrusted to sell.
97%.
Because Darren, I didn't go back. Darren Krongold is the statistician of our office.
He could have been an actuary.
He could have been an actuary. Maybe not quite the IQ for an actuary, or he wouldn't have been a real estate agent. But
you know,
brilliant.
Just to spring to Darren's defence, because you know there is IQ that is measurable in an academic sense, and then there is IQ that is measured in a street sense and a compassionate sense. And you'll find that most agents, good agents, have strong EQ, right, which is compassion, intellect on a street sense point of view. Well, EQ, emotional intelligence, but most agents, most good agents, including yourself, Gary, have very strong EQ and very low IQ.
So we understand people,
and then there's
but we're dumb. That's what you're saying, really. That's
no.
We are dumb.
We understand people,
be
but
clever.
we are not academically inclined.
Now, Phil, let's talk about the weekend. There were so many results to talk about. But before the weekend, we go back in time, back all the way in time to last Wednesday, Philip, and I took the journey out.
Last Tuesday, Gary, because you'll notice that one of our properties had an expressions of interest campaign that closed on Tuesday of last week. This was Lamia Road.
Oh, you're right,
Shout
Philip.
out to both buyer and seller.
Yes.
That was apartment number 2 at 20 Lamia Road. Expressions of interest, of which we do quite a number of those.
We do a number of those.
Campaign closed.
So quietly, I didn't even know about it.
Closed Tuesday afternoon, sold Tuesday night, Gary.
It did, Phil. And is the price disclosed? Or
It is completely undisclosed, so we're not going to mention it.
But a very high-end luxury property there, Phil.
Yes, Gary.
Congratulations.
So now
to
you
the
can
buyer
talk
and
about
seller.
the auction on Wednesday.
Phil, while you were in Lumia Road, I was just around the corner in Mooralbark, Phil. Yes, Mooralbark. Take note.
So where is Mooralbark?
Phil, I love it in Mooralbark. The air is clean. There's probably not a lot of cars like you drive out there, but I've got to tell you that Simon Radolnik went out there, offered and auctioned a office there for a client of his for many, many years. And we love a client, by the way, most unbelievable person, 95-year-old client, looked incredible. Great hand shape, fit as a fiddle, absolutely eloquent, well, beautifully spoken, a nicer voice than yours, I don't mind saying, Phil, because you've got a nice voice.
Thank you.
But there we were.
Why, thank you, Gary.
You're welcome, Phil. A reserve of 200 sold for $273,000.
So you haven't answered the question. Where is Mooroolbark?
Mooroolbark is just, you just go to Ringwood and you just keep going. It's to go to that East Link, go yeehaw, just keep going out into them.
How long did it take you to get there?
It took me about 50 minutes to get there, Phil, but no worries. Happy to go out there with Elsa and Simon, and Simon sold that well. And congratulations, next to Croydon, actually.
Yep.
Phil, it's Mooroolbark, God's own country there, Phil. But then we were back in town to Elsternwick. Now, how about this? We've
Is this
sold
price
property,
disclosed or
and
undisclosed?
It's disclosed, it's okay. But how about this? We go to Mooroolbark, and I'm just as excited about this sales the next.
You're Gary Peer every man, aren't you?
Well, I'm the Jimmy Barnes of real estate.
You are. Viewers, we always call Gary the Jimmy Barnes of real estate because he has got so many down-to-earth hobbies that there's nobody that he can't talk to.
That's very true, Phil. But happy to get out there, and but here we are.
You have a strong EQ, Gary.
Here we are in
EQ with the everyman EQ you've got.
In Ormond Road at Elsternwick, Phil. You've strutted up there, looking magnificent, put together with your beautiful car and your beautiful setup and your systems and everything. And you've gone and opened up the auction there, Phil, and we think we might get around 3.5 or about 3.7, 3.8. That's what we thought. That's what we really thought we might get. The reserve is a little bit higher than we thought, but we thought, well, we're going to try it because every vendor has the right to wish and want their price. Anyway, Phil, lo and behold, we've sold it for $5,150,000. Can you believe
Very
it?
strong result there, Gary, but shout out to the buyer on that who knows exactly what she's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got to tell you that today's top price is tomorrow's bargain.
I agree with that,
and I think she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yep.
Gary,
what about landlord clients? Who we
shout
love?
out to my brother-in-law, Alan Rutman.
Oh, okay, go on.
Shout out to Alan Rutman, who came to an auction of mine 3 weekends ago.
Yes.
And it was an auction that went very well and got a lot of feedback from the buyers and the sellers, and everybody thought it was great.
You, Phil,
but he critiqued me afterwards.
Yeah, I like that he did that.
And I said, okay, Alan, tell me what you think. And he said, well, he thought I was a bit out of control, a bit over the top. So I've adjusted my auction style in the last 3 weeks. And I must say, I'm having very good success. Yes. I'm enjoying my new style.
You've adjusted your EQ, Philip.
What do you think? What do you think of the more... How would you describe it?
I'm biased. I always thought you were great, so I'm a bit biased, Phil. But
shucks.
But he obviously thought you were a bit aggressive, and he didn't like that. And but I don't know how much that was for your benefit, or just wanted to have a go at you actually. But anyway, well done, Alan. Let's move on, Phil, because so many results, and because we don't have a lot of auctions coming up, we can talk about some of our results, Phil.
Are we going to go through all of them?
We're going to, we're going to go through a lot of them because that's what we're
let's just do the ones that we think have got an interesting story, because the viewers are watching this show, Gary, expecting if it's going to be our last show, they're expecting knowledge. They're not just interested in you going monotonously one after the other. They want you to pick the eyes out of it and give them the message of why real estate is the #1 investment on the planet.
The footy show. How controversial has that been this year? About Gary Lyon kicked off, about a woman coming
in. Gary Lyon didn't. Did he get kicked off, or did he just say, I'm out of here?
Panky going on with Gary.
No, that's not fair, Gary. I think you're being dismissive.
No, I'm not being.
Gary Lyon.
Just because he's Melbourne and you're Melbourne, you're going to stand up for him.
No, I'm just saying that he had some issues, some psychological issues
Didn't have too many issues with Billy Brownless's wife, mate. Didn't have too many.
His daughter.
Was it the daughter? It is the daughter.
Well, I think. Anyway, we better run this past the solicitors. Anyway, I think you've just got to be in touch with your EQ.
No, but how about
why are you bringing this
Rebecca
up?
Madden in, and then we've got that. What's his name? Got kicked out.
What's his name?
What's his name?
The North Melbourne chairman.
Brayshaw's
Brayshaw
got kicked out, and but we didn't get kicked out of North Melbourne, Phil, because our first auction was in Harris Street.
But coming back to that, interesting story.
That was the segue.
Interesting story.
Where's the compliments?
Interesting story, viewers, because Craig Hutchinson is now in.
That's right. Hutchie.
Brayshaw's out, and supposedly Brayshaw was trying to renegotiate his contract.
That's right. Yes.
This is just a scuttlebutt
or something like that.
No, it was
a day a week.
It was $500,000, and he wanted to work less time than the day and a half that goes into filming the show.
That's right.
And I'm not sure whether whether he should have negotiated for himself. He could have put us up to it, Gary, because we
so,
are
Phil.
negotiators.
I think he just went a little bit too far.
Correct. And that's the arts and Brayshaw of negotiation. You've got to know where the straw is that breaks the proverbial camel's
and
back.
Channel 9 just went snap and said all the best.
Yes. Good luck with the rest of your career.
Let's get back to North Melbourne, Phil, because it's all a beautiful segue.
Yes, that was a segue.
Harris Street, North Melbourne, and after all of that, the price is undisclosed, but you did a great sale.
Gary, I've got to tell you, firstly, viewers,
Melbourne.
North Melbourne is a fabulous suburb.
It is a great suburb.
And that street was beautifully tree-lined.
It was.
And it only took me, I think, from my home in Armidale, it took me, I think, 17 minutes to get to North Melbourne.
Well done.
And that's what you've got to love about the joy of Melbourne. It's just so accessible.
Although a lot of traffic these days, Philip. I'm finding a lot of traffic in Melbourne.
What, on your way from your home in Caulfield to our office in North Caulfield?
Yes, I get the lights and there's cars. It takes me 4 minutes now.
It's still the most livable city in the world, but you're right. If we do want to pick up on traffic, Gary,
there is a lot of traffic.
Viewers.
What about Saturdays and Sundays?
Wait for this, Gary. Wait for this. I've got to tell you, because you know how quickly 10 years just flashes past. In fact, we were talking about O.J. Simpson, 1995. That's so we're talking, that's already 21 years ago. And yet it was like yesterday. In 20 years' time, Gary, the whole traffic in Melbourne will be solved.
You think so?
No. Why? Driverless cars, Uber and Google. I've been reading some really interesting research about how driverless cars are going to pull a huge percentage of cars off the road.
So Visual Domain, keep this episode on. 10 years' time we'll replay it, see if you're right or not, because we'll be still doing nothing else, because what else are we going to do anyway?
And an interesting story I was also reading is about that they reckon in 20 years' time, the only people that will be driving, will be buying their own cars,
real estate agents,
will be either the rich or those that really, truly enjoy the experience of driving a car.
Well, that's not great if you're in the driving industry, is it, Philip? If you're in the car industry, not good at all. Philip, Lane Street, Ormond, that one was sold. We thought we might get in the high sevens, Philip, $950,000. Well done to Leor. Fisher Street, well, I had some fun selling that one. Graham Callan sold it for $515,000.
I really don't think you should just be going through the properties like that.
Hey, tell me about,
let's talk about properties and go into some depth.
About Wimbledon Avenue.
Okay, well, that was a great apartment. Wimbledon Avenue is in Elwood, and a great spot. And that was it was up on the first floor, but it was a 2-story apartment, and that sold for over $1 million, Gary.
Yep, it did, Philip.
Good result.
The price is not undisclosed, so you can say that it was $1,042,500, Philip. We got our cowboy hats, our whips out, and went yeehaw to Rob Roy Road.
I've got to tell you, we were talking about this in the sales meeting yesterday, as to do we love that name, or is it a completely stupid name for us? No. And there was one of our senior people said, it wouldn't matter what the house was. He would not live in a street called Rob Roy.
That's crazy.
And
he has an aversion to cowboys.
And I've got to tell you, if ever there was
in the 60s and 70s,
Rob Roy,
John Wayne, there would have been
love
Rob Roys
viewers.
around.
If anyone wants to do the research on this, why would you name a street called? What is the history to Rob Roy?
If you can tell us anything about Rob Roy as a name, we'll give you tickets to the movies. So
we will. And Village Centre of Gold class.
Splashing out. Philip, $1,626,000. Are you serious? Well above the expectation of reserve. Range was 1-2 to 1-3. Reserve was right in the middle.
Still talking about Rob Roy. Yep.
1626. Philip, we went off to Ocean Street. Not Ocean's 11, but 6 Ocean Street, Philip.
Shout out to the lovely vendors. They're really lovely family. And a beautiful street, Ocean Street, in part of the McKinnon zone. And viewers, just, in the interest of education, anything in the McKinnon High School zone will attract a premium. And this house was in that zone.
Our final plug or episode of The Bitch Files. Phil, let's put it over the screen. Thank you. There's the bitch files, Phil.
What are we bitching about today?
We're bitching about 26A Ross Street, which we sold at auction on Sunday morning, Phil.
Yes.
Sold it for an undisclosed price, but hey.
How is that part of the bitch files?
Hey, let me continue. There's 3 sales in Ross Street, which our company's made, but there's 2 other properties in Ross Street that aren't sold by other agents.
Is that right?
If you're a Ross Street resident,
Yep.
it looks like if you want to pick the agent that sells in the street, we're the ones, 3 in a row.
We are the one.
That's our little bitch file.
Really, I thought you would have had something much bitchier than that.
That was pretty bitchy. Agent 649 Inkerman Road, St Kilda. Great auction there. Sold for 1,406.
That's Caulfield North, Gary.
It is Caulfield North. Just wanted to see if you were on song.
And I believe you did a very good auction there. Might put some footage up on screen.
Going The property, ladies and gentlemen, is sold. Please congratulate our purchasers. Thanks for coming to auction and have a wonderful Sunday.
It was a development done in the 80s.
I remember it. We both loved it.
Yeah.
And
it's really stood the test of time.
It has. I said that at the auction. That we love the architecture and the whole feel of it, and we've got friends that live in the block. Phil, 6 Merton Street, Caulfield North. Well, that was to use a classic real estate term, a rip snorter.
Yes,
result,
Gary,
Phil.
yes, we've done the whole rip snort thing before, haven't we? We're not
We're
going
not
there
stop.
after our solicitors wrote to us after that saying the use and recommendation of drug use on this show is not clever, so we won't go back into that.
I know what you're saying.
But we will talk about this. Interesting viewers, when you think about that, $2,550,000, right? Now the stamp duty on that's another $150,000, so we're talking about $2.7 million. By the time you build your dream home, that's a $5 million transaction.
Hey, talk about things happening at auction out of the blue. 28 Arnott Street, Ormond, Phillip.
Arnott Street.
Arnott Street, yep. And
pass around the Tim Tams there, Gary.
Passed around the Arnott's, Phil. They were very yummy. But Phil, someone just turned up on the day and said, "This is my dream home," and bought it. There you go for $908,000.
Viewers, in the interest of once again education, we would say that somewhere between about 7.5% and 10% of our properties get sold to people that see it for the first time on the day in all price ranges, whether it be a 1-bedroom apartment or a home for $3 or $4 million. 7.5% to 10% chance.
You just never know what an auction's going to bring. And of course, we finish our weekend, Philip, in Los Angeles.
Yes.
What a great
How
way to finish the year.
much do I love that street?
Me too. It's such a cool street and such a cool house. On this one, where it was a scene of movies and television series and the most delightful vendors. Well, that one, Philip, we've got a little bit of a vendor plug there. We'll put it on there.
Yeah, that's good.
Here's what the vendor said about us. Let's just play it very quickly.
Well, Gary Peer and his whole team have done a fantastic job for us. The marketing was absolutely spot on, and we're delighted with the result.
So thank you.
You're welcome. And what does it mean for you now moving forward?
Oh, new area, but we'll miss here. But we hope the new tenant, the new buyers will have a happier time here as we have.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
So Gary,
that was good fun. Yes, happy
nice.
vendor. We sold it
Happy
for
vendor.
$2,105,000, well above the reserve, Philip, at 1.9. So congratulations to Leo and Viv and the team and the vendors and the buyer who's bought something very special.
Gary, I like that auction because we had a lot of locals there. We had a lot of interaction with the crowd, and everybody just loves that spot. We were talking about Attica now. I think we need to make a booking at Attica.
Well, let's do it.
Because we are, we're locals. The Attica is owned by Ben Shuri, one of the world's. Actually, Attica is in the top 50 best restaurants in the world.
We got to meet him this year.
And we did because we sold him a house. And Ben, we're not going to give the address away.
We've said too much already.
Well, that's okay. I don't think that's a terrible thing to say.
His life. It's fine. Go on, Phil.
Anyway, I think we should make a booking there.
Yes.
And I think we should go there with our wives for dinner.
And we should go the next available date, which is July 2019. It's so hard to get in.
Well, by that time we will have been able to save up enough money.
Right. So, Phil, this wouldn't be one of the busier weekends of our lives, but nevertheless, I think
auctions.
I remember this time last year, we thought, do we have auctions so late in December? And they were great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big crowds and great results, so it's not too
festive.
late.
It's going to be festive, Gary.
It's going to be, Philip. We can go like with a pineapple and a headlight to the whole camp.
Do you want to do something? Do you want to get a band?
Yeah, let's get a band. Any band
jazz
looking
band.
for a job, give us a call. We'll put you into our auctions and rev it up a little bit. Have some festive fun.
I might organise that.
I'd be happy if you did.
Okay.
Here we are in Almond Street in Caulfield, Southfield. Now, this has been a very popular property. We're expecting this property to be popular, and you are doing the auction on Saturday morning. Take us through the auction time and property.
Well, Gary, firstly, Almond Street, what a great address. Walking distance everywhere you want to be, including Hawthorne Road shops, Glen Huntly Road shops, Princess Park, cafes in Bamber Road, and this is just a really good house that you can move straight into, or of course do some further work to it subject to council approval. It's a great launching pad into this lovely area.
Love this part of Caulfield South, tram line at the end of the street, Philip.
I've already mentioned that, Gary. Yes,
and,
done that.
It is on at 10:30 a.m. You didn't mention that, and you would be a nut not to buy in Almond Street.
Oh, that Gary.
That's a good one.
The sad part about that. That's the funniest joke you've made all year. That's how
move
tragic.
on. Let's move on to
tragic.
Sunday. Oh, well, our
Sad.
cameraman's bouncing. I'm not sure about your abuse or the joke. Sunday, Philip, take
Sunday.
us through all of our auctions on Sunday.
Gary, great to be where we're going to be, which is Carlisle Avenue.
Yeah.
And
That's a hot spot,
what
Phil.
what a great spot,
Yeah.
because it's a beautiful tree-lined street.
Yeah.
This is right at the end, and you can retire to the peace and serenity of your 3-bedroom extra large apartment on the
indeed.
first floor, front of the block, best position in the building, of course. Or you can just walk out in the morning on Sunday in the morning and go to breakfast, or Saturday morning at the myriad of incredible cafes. So you've got the wonderful chaos of Carlisle Street,
Yes.
best strip shopping centre in Melbourne, and yet you can go home to your apartment where it's completely peaceful and quiet.
Tim Smith's handling that one. 10, is that also 10:30? I think
It is, Gary. It is a 10:30 auction that will not finish until after 11:30 because you can get there at 10:30 and just enjoy the area, but we won't be auctioning till 11:30.
Why not?
Because the auction's at
It's
11:30.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's an 11:30 auction. Let's put that on the screen.
Yes.
You'll be there with Tim Smith, and as it's your last auction for the year, Philip, we'll probably finish about 3 or 4 o'clock. You'll just be ranting and raving and
I will.
talking, and there'll be drinks at your place afterwards. So we look forward to seeing you at that auction on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. So, year in reflection, Phil, lots of things to look back on. Big year on the block, won the Best Agents Award, Best Large Agent. Well done to St Kilda, who won the Best Small Agent. We've won the Communications Award, which is very much around this show. So thank you
for watching.
Thank you to our
viewers.
audience, all 5 or 6 of you that watch the show. We thank you for that. It's been a very big year. And we just had a look at how many people have joined this year, Philip. 23 people.
23
joined.
new people have come on board at Gary Peel
23
Associates.
new full-timers.
How
That's
good is
been
that?
a big year,
How
hasn't
good is
it,
that? And
Phil?
some really
Lots of
nice
requests,
people.
Some nice people,
Yeah.
some nice talent, some nice looking people, some very accomplished people, some
So
good
shallow that
attitudes.
you would say that they're nice looking.
Well, nice looking doesn't mean that, it's not just a looking thing. It's a nice looking in terms of their
it's just
attitudes.
shallow.
No, but they look nice as in their potential to be
Oh,
successful. Yeah.
all of a sudden it's now about their personality
I
looks
said,
nice.
I went on after that because I said nice looking, nice attitude, nice everything, Philip. So it's just
You're
you picked
nice.
up the
You're
worst
nice
part.
looking, Gary.
I'm a bit sunburnt though, Phil.
You are.
And
You are.
please, viewers, be sun smart this summer because don't do what I did. I went out on the weekend. I thought I dodged the sun, but I ended up coming home looking like a bit of a.
Well, I'm now
prawn.
wearing a hat, as you saw on the weekend.
No, you're not now wearing a hat.
No, I'm
because
not.
you're not wearing a
Anyway,
hat
on
right now.
Sundays, so speaking of nice looking,
Darren's got a good hat too, hasn't
he
he?
has. Well,
Yeah,
it's a
Darren's
tiny
got a
little
great
hat.
hat.
But
Yeah, well, he's got a tiny
I'm doing
little-
an auction on Sunday,
yeah.
right? And I've got this new look, which is sports jacket, and it's still professional looking, but just a little bit more casual for the weekend. I've got my hat, and I'm standing talking to this group of people, and this. They're saying, one person says, "Oh, you look nice today, Phil." I said, "Thanks very much." And then this guy starts saying to me, "Well, actually, no, you don't, because your shoes are brown, your pants are blue."
Got picked apart.
And he started picking me
Fashion
apart.
statement,
And
fashion tragic.
and I look at him,
Yeah.
and he's got this baggy, daggy pair of green khaki pants
But
on.
he's going to rate you. It doesn't matter what he's wearing.
With a smile on
Yeah.
my face, I said to him, "Thank you for deconstructing." Thank you for deconstructing my
Good
look.
on you. I love you.
But
Whoever you are.
I'm looking at you, and I'm not sure
matter.
you're in the fashion advice states.
It's not the point. He's relaxed and you're on show.
And he looks at me,
And you haven't put
and
it
he,
together.
And he looks
Yeah.
at me like
insulted.
he's insulted, and I felt like saying, "But you started this."
Yeah, there you
I don't
go.
know, the general public.
Oh,
They're,
wow.
They're
There
harsh.
you go. You don't take Phil on with fashion, you're going to cop it bad, but I'm glad he did. I love it. And I'll give you those $50. Come to the office. I'll give him $50 for that. That is
$50?
brilliant. $50, Phil.
Yeah,
Look,
Jimmy
that's-
Barnes of real estate with their $50.
Yeah, $50. Phil, that's a big wrap on GPTV. For 2016, it's the last show. For those that have sold with us, thank you. 97% of all properties that we were entrusted with have sold already. There's a few left that we'll still try to make the stat even higher. So thank you to all of our clients that stuck by, that supported us, that have watched the show. Thank you to our landlords, thank you to our tenants, to our buyers, to our sellers, to everybody that's allowed us to disclose prices and that has supported our agency, for our friends and all of our advocates, referrers, Philip. It's a beautiful thing. It's been a great year.
And thanks
hasn't
to
it?
Sean behind the camera here. You've been
Visual
great,
Domain.
Sean.
Visual Domain have done a great job, stuck with us. So
yeah.
thank you to all. We will be back at the end of January, Phil.
With
and,
first shows when?
You can see he needs the break. It'll be the last Tuesday in January. I think we'll be back then. Phil,
Last
which is
Tuesday.
somewhere just after Australia Day.
Speaking of the last something,
Yep.
guess what's happening a week from today?
A week from today. I don't know. You're going away, or
No,
what's happening?
no.
For a week from
My
today?
son Ben
Oh, yeah,
is
he's-
coming
yeah,
back
I know he is.
from
It's his
his
birthday.
12 months
Is
of
his
being
birthday
overseas.
21st?
23rd.
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 Better
Yeah,
be
we're
right.
actually coming
If
to
I'm
our
wrong.
place for dinner on the 23rd.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to that. Welcome
but
back, Ben.
Ben's coming
Yeah.
back on the 20th. It's good. Can't
Fantastic.
wait to get him back
Fantastic.
after a year. We're going to put him into the business and exploit the little bugger.
Exactly right. He'll be running the show. He's
Yeah.
a genius, that kid. Anyway, it's been a great year. Thank you.
It has been a good year. Do you know what? It's not even that it's been a great year. It's been a fun year.
Yeah.
And I say, viewers, in all sincerity, we have got the best team, but most importantly, and more importantly than having a great team, we really do have the best clients.
No
Best
question
clients,
about that.
because
I knew where you were going. I was with you.
we go out on the weekend and we're professional in terms of chasing the best price.
Yes.
But the buyers are great, the sellers
They
are
are.
great. We are so lucky to be in the
We are
area that
blessed.
we are
Thank
with the sort of clients that we've got.
Absolutely. So thank you. We wish you all a safe, happy summer and a wonderful 2017. May it be your best year ever. Until 2018, that it could be a better one again. But signing off for the end of 2016, thanks for tuning into the show. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a great summer.